For months, Europe waited for a war that never came. Then, in a single morning, everything collapsed. Not because of bigger armies, but because someone dared to fight faster than history itself. In the annals of history, there are moments when the very fabric of warfare, of strategy, of human endeavor itself, is irrevocably torn and rewoven. Moments when a radical idea, born from the crucible of necessity and audacious vision, challenges everything that came before it. This is the story of one such moment, a testament to the power of unconventional thinking, the relentless pursuit of an objective, and the profound lessons learned when the impossible is attempted. Imagine, if you will, the spring of 1940. A strange quiet had settled over Europe, a period the world would come to call the phony war. For months, armies had stood poised, staring across borders. A tense stillness that belied the storm brewing beneath the surface. The Allied nations, France and Britain, believed they understood the rules of engagement, anticipating a replay of past conflicts, a war of attrition, of static lines. But on the 10th day of May, that illusion shattered. With the dawn, a thunderous roar erupted across the continent. Germany launched its offensive into France and the Low Countries, and with it, a doctrine so revolutionary, so unprecedented, that it would forever alter the course of modern warfare. The phony war was over. The real war had begun. This wasn't just another invasion. It was a profound shift in military philosophy, a gamble born of a desperate need to avoid the stalemates of the past. The Germans called it Blitzkrieg lightning war. It was a strategy built on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force at critical points, designed not merely to engage the enemy, but to utterly shatter their will to resist. At its heart lay the revolutionary concept of using armored units, not as scattered support elements, but as the spearhead of the entire invasion. These colossal formations of tanks and motorized infantry were to achieve strategic breakthroughs, then drive deep into enemy territory, exploiting the ensuing chaos and bypassing traditional lines of defense. It was a concept that defied generations of military thinking, a bold declaration that the future belonged to those who dared to move faster, think bolder. The architects of this audacious vision were a select few, men who saw beyond the conventional wisdom, while many conservative officers within their own ranks doubted the very independence of armored forces. Fearing they would outrun their support and be cut off, a powerful coalition stood firm. The supreme commander, driven by an instinct for the unconventional, lent his unwavering support. He was joined by brilliant minds like General Guthrie, a fervent champion of tank warfare, strategist Mansfield, whose strategic brilliance mapped out the audacious plan, and Colonel Jodrell, a meticulous planner who translated vision into actionable directives. Their collective resolve forged a path for this radical doctrine to take flight. They understood that to win, they had to break the mold, to challenge every assumption held by their adversaries. The instrument of this revolutionary strategy was a force of staggering proportions. Panzer Group Clay. Under the command of the brilliant Marshal Clay, this ground force was unlike anything the world had ever seen. It comprised over 41,000 vehicles, including an astonishing 1,200 tanks, half of Germany's entire armored might, backed by 134,000 troops. It was a mobile juggernaut, a steel fist poised to strike with unparalleled power and precision. This wasn't just a large army. It was a carefully curated, meticulously trained, and technologically advanced spearhead designed for one purpose, to achieve the impossible. Their main objective was a calculated risk, a stroke of strategic audacity that would either win the war or break their army. They aimed to smash through the dense, unforgiving terrain of the Ardennes Forest, a region the Allies considered impassable for large armored formations. The Allied High Command, convinced that any major attack would come through the open plains of Flanders, had implemented Plan D, deploying their best and most powerful forces into Belgium. This left the Ardennes perceived as a natural barrier, defended by weaker, less equipped units. The Germans, however, saw not an obstacle, but an opportunity. They planned to cross the Meuse River at Sedan, a critical choke point, and then unleash their armored divisions into the French hinterland, bypassing the formidable Maginot Line and trapping the Allied forces in Belgium. It was a gamble of monumental proportions, betting everything on the Allied underestimation of the Ardennes defensive capabilities. But such an immense undertaking brought with it equally immense logistical challenges. Panzer Group Clay was tasked with a marching distance of over 1,500 kilometers in hostile territory. How could such a massive force maintain its lightning speed without grinding to a halt for fuel and supplies? The answer lay in ingenious solutions. They developed the backpack principle, a system where each unit carried its own initial supply of essentials, reducing immediate reliance on a fragile supply chain. Crucially, they implemented mobile refueling systems, a revolutionary concept for the time, allowing tanks and vehicles to be resupplied on the move, minimizing downtime and maintaining the relentless pace that was the hallmark of Blitzkrieg. Speed was not just an advantage, it was the entire operational imperative. They aimed for 3 days to the Meuse fourth day across the Meuse, a furious tempo designed not only to defeat the enemy, but also for Panzer Group Clay to maintain its vital independence from slower traditional infantry units that would inevitably follow. The morning of May 10th dawned with a sense of destiny. General Guthrie's 1st Panzer Division, leading the charge, spearheaded the advance through Luxembourg. The initial push was rapid, but even the most meticulously planned operations faced the unpredictable reality of the battlefield. At Martelinge and Boudange, in the rugged terrain of the Belgian Ardennes, the Germans encountered unexpected resistance. Small, determined units of Belgian Ardennes light infantry, though outmatched, fought with surprising tenacity. They were not supposed to be there, not in such numbers, not with such resolve. Adding to the early complications, a specific German operation, codenamed Operation Navy, designed to cut communications via paratroop drops, backfired at Boudange. The very disruption intended to sow chaos among the defenders inadvertently strengthened their resolve. Lost retreat orders, a direct consequence of the communication breakdown, meant that some Belgian troops, unaware of their larger units' movements, simply held their ground longer than anticipated, creating unforeseen pockets of resistance. Despite the rigorous planning, despite the revolutionary strategies, the very first day of this unprecedented campaign encountered logistical glitches and unexpected delays. The road ahead was long, fraught with peril, and already proving to be a test of their unwavering commitment to speed and audacious execution. Yet, it was in these early moments of friction, these initial encounters with the unpredictable, that the true spirit of their endeavor would be forged. The lesson was clear. Even the most brilliant plans must contend with the grit and resilience of the human spirit, and the journey to victory is rarely, if ever, a straight line.